Entitled ex-girlfriend wants the engagement ring I never gave her because she broke up with me before I could propose. Gets arrested for her troubles. A while back I was dating this girl for roughly 2 years. I thought things were going great, but apparently she was just dating me because she liked to tell people she was in a relationship. Yes, that's how it went with her. The way she described me was too immature, decent in bed, and honestly not worth the rest of my life. Exact words she said to a friend of hers after we broke up. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I went out and bought a ring, had this entire thing planned out to propose to her. However, she was suddenly not available for several weeks in a row. Well, my fears rang true, as she suddenly showed up at my place one day, acted like everything was normal as we talked, and she was grabbing everything that was hers. About halfway through, I just kinda looked at her and said, "Don't forget your hair dryer. It would be awkward to have to come back over after you dump me." This sparked a long and awkward conversation where she was fake crying. I had realized right then and there that I was an idiot. The way she acted, the way she spoke, and the way she treated me just screamed that she did not care. I was devastated, but seeing her made me angry. I had realized she was lying to me this entire time. About a month later, a friend of hers called me up, asked if she could come over to talk. I asked why, and she said my ex pissed her off, and she wanted to tell me some things. My mind goes to horrifying things, like she needs to warn me I need to see a doctor or things like that. Well, her friend came over and we chatted for a while. See, her friend was beyond pissed off. Talk about ending the relationship, pissed off at her. So her way to get back at her friend was to sleep with her ex-boyfriend. Me being in my mental state, I said yes. More like I said, sure, yeah, we can do that if you really want to. So she ends up staying over for a few days as we get to talking about my ex. I tell her about the ring, and she had the best idea to get back at my ex. Let's lay down in bed and post a pic of ourselves with the ring in between us. Yeah, I thought it was a terrible idea, but I wanted my ex to feel like crap, so, well, there you go. Not even 2 hours later, my ex was at the door. We posted the picture at like 11 in the morning, and she was at my place at 12:40 something. Right off the bat, she tried to act like breaking up with me was a mistake. She said that I was the best boyfriend she ever had, and she was getting scared with how serious things were getting. She said she made a terrible mistake in breaking up with me. Well, her friend immediately goes into a rant about my ex, saying that she was manipulative and that neither of us would believe this sob story she was giving. Gotta say, I'm very glad her friend was there because my stupid self was believing my ex. I reminded her of how she treated me when we broke up and that she should go home, that she was wasting her time. Well, now she brought up the ring, said she owed it under the law, said that rings are gifts and that I cannot take it back. In unison, me and her friend said that I never gave it to her. We both looked at each other and laughed a bit, as the absurdity of the situation was getting outrageous. She said she was owed that ring, and that she was not leaving without it. At about this time, a police officer came up the stairs wanting to know what the trouble was. I guess we made enough noise that neighbors called the police. The female officer asked what the situation was. Everyone tried to talk at once, and the officer shut us down. Pointed to my ex and asked her what the problem was. She said she was trying to pick up her stuff after we broke up. She asked me if it were true. I explained the situation, how my ex broke up with me before I had the chance to propose, and that she was never given the ring. Throughout the conversation, 2 more officers showed up, and one as supervisor. The whole story was explained like 4 times. At one point, my ex said that the money from the ring will let her pay off her car. Have you ever seen a moment when someone says something so outrageous that everyone looks at them in utter disgust? I responded with that the ring isn't expensive, it was bought off of a website, and I reminded her that I am an IT tech, so this wasn't a ring that was 10 to 12K, more like 1 to 1.5K. The anger and rage that came over her face was immediately apparent to everyone. She stepped forward and punched me in the chest and kicked at me before being tackled to the ground by the female officer. The supervisor on scene told us to go inside while they get her under control. We did, and about 10 minutes later they came back. They wanted my statement. I told them I didn't want to press charges against her, but they said, yeah, it doesn't work like that. We saw it, so it's being processed. She ended up getting misdemeanor offense for it. Now for the top comments. Engagement rings are the legal exception to the gift rule. In most places, it's a gift in contemplation of marriage. She would have had to give it back anyways. I learned that from Judge Judy. I answer to a higher Judy, Judith Martin. Miss Manners says that in polite society, an engagement ring should remain the property of the person who did not end the engagement. Accommodations may be made for family heirlooms, providing a ring or other compensation of equal monetary value is expected. Said she owed it under the law, said that rings are gifts and that I cannot take it back. That's hilarious. 1. You never got engaged. 2. You never gave her the ring. 3. And most importantly, even if you had given her the ring and she then broke up with you, legally she would have to return it. An engagement ring is given as a token and promise of marriage. If the marriage does not happen, she has to return the ring anyway. You dodged a greedy bullet there. Unless it was given to her on a holiday, such as Valentine's Day or Christmas. In that case, it can be considered a gift rather than consideration pending fulfillment of a contract. And that is why holiday proposals should be treated as money bet in Vegas. If it all goes south, you are never getting it back. Always press charges. That way the perp might learn their lesson. It also creates a paper trail in case of escalation down the road. And as a warning to future people contemplating a relationship with this type of person. Next story. Cheat and lie about why we broke up. Enjoy being disowned and cut out from your family. This happened between me 25 male and my ex 24 female over the past few months. I will keep it short but keep all important details. To start, the first month, February, was amazing, like a dream relationship. We had been friends for a while before when she suddenly confessed. I had hid my feelings as we were meant to only be friends, so I jumped at the opportunity stating my feelings. The second month was not as bad, only having a single argument as she invited her neighbor over to what was supposed to be a date. After talking it out, we sorted it and made up. The third month was when the problem started. We had planned out date to be on a set as she had work on our usual Friday times. I understood and changed the day of the restaurant I booked to then. I hadn't told her as I wanted it to be a surprise instead of the usual home movie, but she knew to keep that day clear and to dress well for the date. Only an hour before the date, she texts me saying that she won't be there tonight as she was going to see a movie with a friend. I was honestly furious, as I had already paid the pre-book fee and told her over a week in advance. I tried to call but her phone was off. I called her best friend, and he had no idea what was happening either. The next morning I talked to her, and she argues with me saying I should have told her it was a restaurant meal. After about an hour of argument, she finally admitted that she was wrong for what she did. I accepted that and we took a day break to calm down and clear any bad feelings. After that, the relationship started to decline. I stayed the same, but she started to get more and more distant. Then eventually, after 3 weeks of no intimacy, not even kisses, I confronted her asking what's going on. She says she needs a week to think and wanted to be single for that. I told her I don't mind taking a break if that's what she needs, but I don't see why being single is needed for that. She argued it's for her freedom, and I realized it was for another guy. We broke up and she spread lies about me cheating and harming her. Thankfully, the friends she spread it to wouldn't believe her, as we had all known each other for years, with her being introduced to them through me. Her best friend had tried to defend me and she had blocked him. But he knew her friend group, and through them we discovered that she had been cheating the last 3 weeks of the relationship, as well as the friend she went to the movies with, being a Tinder hookup, then left me to start dating the new guy. To nobody's surprise, he blocked her after she tried to start dating him. Soon she dropped out of university, as the guy had uploaded the videos of her cheating to adult sites, and it spread throughout her university. Then I decided I wanted revenge. It wasn't much, as I knew her parents and were really close. They knew nothing that was going on and assumed we just broke up. Her parents, though, are super religious along with her grandmother. So although painful, I found the links to the videos, downloaded them, and took screenshots of all the breakup. Then I contacted her family saying I had something I wanted to share, created a group chat with her parents, grandmother, and ex-best friend. Then I unloaded all screenshots and videos, along with a text message explaining everything that's happened. There was no contact for about a week, then her ex-best friend filled me in on the situation. She had lost her scholarship due to dropping out of university. Her grandmother, after seeing the proof, cut her from the will and disowned her, followed by her parents, and her being evicted from the house as well as support cut off. She now is working a minimum wage job and sharing a home with friends. Edit. For all those calling me a bad person, I know. It's nuclear revenge, not AITA. And for those who can't read, she attempted to pin abuse, which would make me lose my job. And I did not upload the videos, only shared to her family for proof. After that, it was out my hands and went further than I thought. I was waiting for this to go nuclear, and then the last 2 paragraphs came in. Bloody hell, that must have left a mark. Thing blew harder than Hiroshima. This feels like it should be on the shame page. The Tinder guy felt so strongly about her that he blocked her, created and uploaded revenge videos. You found it, and then you destroyed her life with it. Over a 3-month relationship to a long-term friend. Hell, it fell apart in 3 months so badly that she was cheating that obviously. Are you saying you've had no red flags from when y'all were friends? Because she spread rumors that he was harming her. This wasn't just for cheating. It was for the slander dished to him after that, which could have very likely ruined his social life. Why are people in the comments section acting like this is an AITA thread? The whole point of this sub is telling stories of overboard reactions lol. Right. I actually found it very fitting of the sub. She cheated and tried to badmouth OP. I honestly think she kinda deserved a punch of reality and consequences of her actions. Is OP kind of a jerk? Yes, but that is exactly why you don't antagonize people who you don't know what they are capable of. Last story. My ex started hurting me again, so I ruined her college education. I, 21 male, met my ex-girlfriend Renee, 20 female, 4 years ago when we were 17 and 16 to be specific. We were off and on because of her behavior and mine as well. It was toxic and we weren't best suited. I was untrusting and cold some days. She was always drinking and going out with other people, and couldn't be bothered with me unless she had a bad day. She constantly went out drinking, sending explicit pics to other guys, hooking up, and then blaming it on assault so I wouldn't freak out. And I handled it poorly by being strict and creating rules, and being way too overprotective of her, which I can admit is my bad. But she always made me the source of her issues, and blamed me for her parents hating her, her sister being mean to her, not having a social life, even though I stopped her from self-harm when I met her, helped her finish high school, and helped her get a scholarship to my local university. We finally broke up when she moved here for college from a few states away almost 2 years ago. When she was 19, started dating a minor behind my back. I went on with my life and she went on with hers. I met somebody and we had a perfectly healthy relationship, and she brought out the best in me and made me become a better person. Until a month ago when I lost her to complications in her life and she had to leave. I grieved as I needed and continued trying to do better like she always wanted for me. Flash forward a week ago when Renee and I ran into each other and started talking again, told her how my life was going, she talked about hers. And we started being friends again. She knew I was grieving, and at first was incredibly sympathetic, and I figured we could have a good friendship. After a day she started comparing me to her new boyfriend, 21 male, and making fun of me for things I lacked, and would rub in my face how better he is at everything compared to me. The shoe dropped when she started rubbing in my face about hooking up with him, and how it must suck knowing I can't again with my ex. I'm fine with being insulted, but bringing her up knowing my pain pushed a line. I told her to knock it off and don't talk about it, and she proceeded to treat me like a client at her job. She helps mentally disabled people and knows I have a slight disability, and kept telling me that if I don't want to be talked to like that, then stop telling her what to do. She gets drunk one night and starts yelling at me about our relationship and all the issues she endured while being with me. I apologized and made my amends, because I can agree I wasn't always the best. Never expected her to apologize for hers, but made clear how sorry I was for my part, as I know I wasn't always correct, and she finally went to bed. Next night she calls me at 1 a.m. She gets incredibly drunk. Starts calling me names and saying I'm mean because she's bringing up being intimate with her boyfriend, and how she's doing it while texting to me, and I get sick of it and tell her to go away. She makes comments that she's gonna keep screwing him, to where I make a comment of, "That's nice, now if only he could satisfy," which brought her boyfriend into a rage and threatening to shoot me. And then Renee pipes up and says she should go find my ex and tell her how horrible I used to be and ruin everything, so if the day comes where she can come back, she will never want to see me again. Cue my nuclear revenge. They both were college students living in the dorm on scholarships. The college has a rule against alcohol, and you will lose your scholarship if caught with it. So I contacted the police, gave them her dorm number, explained she's underage drinking, her boyfriend is supplying the alcohol, and she's currently hooking up in the dorm with him. Police show up, dorm roommates let them in, knock on the door, catch her drunk with all sorts of alcohol from over state lines. My state has a lesser alcohol rating, so stuff from the next state over is double in alcohol percentage, and catch them both obviously doing it while she's drunk. She ends up charged with underage drinking. He's charged with giving alcohol to a minor, and is looking at added assault charges because he got her drunk and then screwed her while she's under the legal age. And both of their scholarships were lost and were expelled, and now both have to leave town, and they both live in entirely different states. She wants to make me feel lesser. Enjoy losing your education. Maybe it's young people, but why even start talking to a toxic person again? Maybe it's because after so many years, the person might have matured somewhat. I say might, as some people never change. I believe in giving people the benefit of the doubt, but treat me badly again and that's it. No more chances. After so many years. Sounds like it was a year. No toxic person matures enough in that amount of time, especially not at 19. I know when people are younger, half a year or a year feels like a lot of time has passed, and you're potentially reconnecting with a whole new person, but it's barely any time at all. It definitely qualifies for the sub, but I feel like nearly everyone in this story needs to mature a little. And in like 10 years, they're gonna look back and be embarrassed by all this. I agree, but this person is owning up to the fact that he had some mishaps he apologized for. Why didn't you just block her when she started comparing you to her boyfriend and mistreating you again? No one needs that crap, dude. She sounds incredibly toxic. Additionally, what if she finds out you reported her and got her in trouble? She sounds petty enough to want revenge. Nah, that witch deserved it.